this planet is the only planet with life on it. You know, life might have even rose twice on this planet alone. I mean, there's some bacteria underground in some place in India, some Indian mine, I think, that's got several miles underground, and it lives off of something like uranium, and it's like a hydrogen sulfide bacteria, so it turns, you know, hydrogen and sulfur into hydrogen sulfide, and it uses that to store its energy, and, you know, to propel all the rest of its systems and such, and it gets the heat from, you know, radioactive uranium deep underground. And I think that the DNA is a little bit different. I think so. Life might have. I remember I read a paper that life, you know, from that, some scientists think that actually was a life form that might have independently rose. It might not have had anything to do with the other forms of life on the planet. And there might even be, you know, some of the early, you know, bacterial organisms and such, you know, RNAs and such, might have, you know, created independent organisms. So there might, you know, life might have arose several times on this planet alone. So basically, you know, whenever there's life, my belief is, you know, just looking at science so far, you can't say that it probably is not some, there's not some, you know, fundamental laws of the universe that make it possible for life just to randomly arise. So now when we think of that, the number, you know, that 1 in 10 that are Earth-like, maybe 1 in 10 again get life. Okay, so 1 in 10 get life. Now, let's talk about a couple other numbers before I go any further. First off, the Earth itself is 5 billion years old. That's, you know, you can ask any geologist, and that's exactly what they'll tell you. Otherwise, they probably shouldn't be. I mean, if they say 4.5 billion, blah blah blah, blah, that's fine too. But I mean, if they're off by an order of magnitude on that number of 5 billion, they pretty sure are not PhDs, or if they are, they're PhD from some southern strange university of God and blah 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 blah. Anyways, so yeah, the Earth's 5 billion years old. The Sun, not much older than that. Our known universe, 13.7 billion years. Now, stars that are like the Sun, the main sequence variety of the Sun, have been around for quite some time. And other stars too, the ones actually that are probably most likely to have life, like white dwarfs and such, that have close circling planets. That's what I read some paper about that once. So, you know, we can assume those types of stars too in a lot of our discussions. But I'm going to stick with our Sun right now. So our Sun, main sequence star, blah, 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 is only, stars like that have only been able to be around for like the last 10 billion years. So our Sun is 5 billion years old, but there were suns 5 billion years before that. So life, if it takes life, you know, if it takes the star, you know, 5 billion years for its planets to, you know, produce intelligent life like ours, we would, you know, life like us is very, you know, easily been around for 5 billion years. I mean, again, don't feel that privileged about your place in the universe. It's not like we're the first, like a lot of people think. No, if it's been around, it's been around for 5 billion years. If it happens, you know, on other planets, it's been around, or it started something, whatever, there was intelligent life 5 billion, within, you know, several times within the last 5 billion years. So I wanted to get to that number because I wanted to just point that fact out when we're talking about all this stuff too. But so I wanted to figure out how many planets have intelligent life on them, then how many Earth-like planets have intelligent or have life. So we said 1 in 10 of the Earth-like planets have life. So how much of that is intelligent? Well, we know we're intelligent again, so we shouldn't feel that privileged. I mean, there's lots of other creatures on this planet that, I mean, look at dolphins. Give them another couple billion years, or another, you know, couple million years, you know, who knows. Same thing with chimps. I mean, our chimps are a very close relative, you know, but they're along the same line. They're really not even that different species-wise, and some people even say, you know, it's not completely unlikely that, you know, humans and chimps could even reproduce potentially. I think there's a different number of chromosomes that's preventing that, but that's about it. Yeah, so we have, you know, other creatures on this planet, you know, at least a couple of their lines that could easily produce intelligent life in the not too distant future. So, when you think of that, and you think of, you know, the fact that we're, again, not that privileged probably in the universe, maybe 1 in 10 again have formed intelligent life on them at some point in time. So 1 in 10. So that's like divided by 2,000. So that gigantic ass number divided by 2,000 is the number of intelligent life forms in this. I mean, that's still several orders of magnitude above trillions, hundreds of thousands. It's a billion. Let's do it now. Okay, what is it? So that's a trillion. So it's 10 billion billions. That's how many of them have intelligent life in the universe. That's how many planets. That's nuts. It's a lot. That's a rather conservative estimate. It could even be higher. It could be, of course, lower. But still, I mean, none of those numbers I just put down were that far off.